Hey, how's it going? This is Kevin Hockett, and you're watching my Drum Basics video series. In this episode, we're talking about bass drum technique. We're going to be covering both the heel down and the heel up technique. Are you ready? Here we go! For a lot of drummers, including myself, these two basic techniques that I'm about to show you might be the only two techniques that you ever need to know. Let's dive right in. Heel down technique looks something like this. Heel down gives us great control over the beater, but we won't have quite as much speed or power as we would if we used heel up. The heel down technique is really just a rotation of the ankle. Think of your heel as the anchor and your upper leg muscles as the stabilizers. Notice that the first motion of the foot is not to push down, but actually to lift up. A great way to practice heel down technique is actually just to put your foot flat on the floor, relax your toes, and just tap. By lifting up first instead of pushing down, we basically prime the system. Because the pedal is attached to a fixed spring, we can put energy into the pedal both by pushing and lifting. Either motion gives the spring tension or potential energy. The more energy we have, the more we have to work with, aka more options. Think of bass drum technique more like dribbling a basketball and not like pushing in a gas pedal. If we don't lift first, we start with zero potential energy in the spring, aka not much to work with. Heel up technique looks something like this. The heel up technique uses the same general principles as heel down. The first motion is still lifting, not pushing. It's important to consider your overall balance as you use this technique. You may find yourself depending more on stabilization from your core and from your throne. You can think about the basic motion of the heel up technique like a string pulling your knee upward. Try not to kick outward. Focus on the vertical motion. At slower tempos, think about using more of your upper leg and your hip. At faster tempos, think about using more ankle rotation. Again, it's similar to dribbling a basketball. One thing you may have noticed in both of those examples, in the heel down and the heel up, is that I didn't bury the beater. So burying the beater is when you force the bass drum beater into the head. Now, there's actually nothing wrong with burying the beater, and you'll see a lot of pro drummers do it all the time. But I think it's important that you have control over whether you bury the beater or not. I would recommend that when you're starting off, that you practice letting the beater rebound off of the head. I think it's beneficial if you learn how to relax your foot throughout the whole process. Later on, you can bury the beater all you want, but you should be able to easily switch between playing either way. And let's talk mistakes for a minute. The most common mistake that beginner drummers make with their bass drum technique is lifting their foot off of the pedal. And that goes for both heel down and heel up techniques. If your foot leaves the pedal, not only do you lose control, but now you have to start the whole process of motion over again. Essentially, you've lost your connection with how the pedal is moving. It wouldn't make sense if we let go of the sticks while we played, and it doesn't make sense to lift our feet off of the pedal. That's all for this episode. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you're well on your way to playing some fantastic bass drum patterns. Thank you again. I'll see you in the next episode.